Hello my friends, Happy New Year. It's 2026, first stream, and I'm going to make it very special since this is the first movie in 2026 to be mentioned by me, so let's make it really special. And first of all, the movie is called Beauty from Pain. If you don't know what this movie is, you can find it on Passionflix. Passionflix basically is a platform where romance genre is so popular, and specifically this movie was so popular across the people who love novel and who love basically movies based on the novel. And this novel, Beauty from Pain, is just first part of the trilogy. And let's talk about the characters. First of all, it's of course Laurelyn from Nashville arrives with her friend to Wagga Wagga. She arrived in Wagga Wagga, Australia, and during her open mic performance, she was basically noticed by a man, Jack Henry, who is Jack Henry is a wine-making magnate, and basically he noticed Laurelyn, of course, and he ran into her right after her performance and suggested that they can dance or something. They met again the other night, but she was so wanted by another man who is a friend of her, who is a brother of her friend. So basically she got this moment with Jack Henry because he basically made sure that this moment just for the two of them. This moment basically happened because he paid waitress and other people who is working at this place to distract the annoying friend. Basically he was able to get this moment just because he knows how to communicate and how make things happen. Basically this is typical novel based movie, but I was really thinking about writing something because I was inspired by this movie. Since this is New Year, I want to introduce you something that I have written just this morning. This is not something unreal, but it's coming from my heart and based on Laurelyn's words. The best songs, the best lyrics come from your heart. So you should be either devastated by break up or desperately in love. Two feelings that make you write something good or something special. So I wrote this. This is my first ever lyrics that I wrote. Beauty from Pain. On Passionflix this movie came. There will be trilogy based on the novel Beauty from Pain, Surrender, and From Love as final. In first installment, Laurelyn Prescott on travel. She and her friend arrived in Wagga Wagga. She wasn't looking for a man no longer. Her first night in town, On her first night in town, she met McLachlan, who fell in love with her performance during an open mic. They crossing paths again the following event of wine. McLachlan seems to be a secretive and strange 3-month no strings attached relationship he offered to arrange. They'd never know each other's real names. The anonymity already has been claimed. Will Laurelyn decide to stay depends on how this trial ends. Lachlan made sure they would break up once time is over. He is afraid of true commitment, so he had that offer. And Laurelyn's on getaway from Nashville. What they agreed and what they truly want now clashing. And maybe Lachlan's honesty somehow seems good. His offer never can and maybe Lachlan's honesty somehow seems good. His offer never can exclude him being rude. No strings attached from last 3 months. No strings attached for last 3 months would be too much for all of us. So it was for them. They fought it hard. But they can never win that fight. She is too beautiful and smart for anyone to be apart. McLachlan finally revealed his family and name, Jack Henry. And once the trial hits its final stage, he has already changed. He wants to be with Paige, aka Laurelyn. Laurelyn has been in love with him since her first night in Wagga Wagga, but she believed Jack wasn't ready for a relationship stronger. She lied about staying one more night. She left him early. She is already on her Nashville flight. So this is the lyrics I wrote, but this is about the more of my feelings. When I was watching this movie, I specifically felt that this movie is basically made right before a new year, because this movie has excellent, perfect vibes that makes you basically realize that anything passable if you can find really your inspiration. And this movie becomes my inspiration, apparently, but I cannot just make this movie my only inspiration, and I cannot depend on any movie or TV show, on any plots and any characters, because sometimes I think that they stream specifically, they kind of making me reevaluate what we were doing basically last 2 years. So I was relying heavily on movies plot, on movies characters, on the storylines. I was trying to just retell everything, every single event from a movie, from a TV show, but I wasn't really trying to find myself in the middle of it. So we are going to dedicate 2026 to finding ourselves, because 2026 is specifically mentioned as a year of healing, in serious relationship, and I never felt more ready than now after I just met 2026. And I've been watching this movie ever since. This movie made my New Year's Eve so easy, and it just made me realize that no expectations, nothing should be really from a new year, because it's just another 365 days. It's just another calendar, another period that you need basically go through, and every new year you have to find something that will make you go through easier, that will make you change, improve. So I found this movie, and I recommend you this movie, not just because this is romance, this is so passionate. This movie is just not just that. It's more than anything else. For me, this movie personally, it became something that I can basically rewatch multiple times, specific scenes and specific moments. For example, I would really recommend you this movie if you love watching beautiful scenes, beautiful editings with dances, of course love scenes, everything is there. And this movie is a good starter for a new year if you're looking for something romantic but not too much. This movie could fall into that too much, but at some point you're gonna love it. So did I. And even though this movie is not ending on a good point, happy ending is not about this movie, because Laureline leaving Wagga Wagga, Australia, and her lover after 3 months they spent, she decided to leave because she wasn't really thinking that Jack is ready for something serious than that trial period. So she left and she went home. She is on her flight to Nashville, and this is the perfect ending. There is no happy ending, but at the same time, the way she was arriving in Wagga Wagga, she was so happy, and she left Wagga Wagga devastated. She left in completely different mood. She left in completely different state. The way she looked, happy, so like chill, no expectations from this trip. She was arriving in Wagga Wagga and she was introduced to her friend's brother, Ben. He was hitting on Laureline immediately, but she was more focused on spending this time and making this quality time. The 3 month that they are going to spend in Wagga Wagga wasn't really planned for dating anybody, and basically the only person who made you change her mind was Jack Henry, but his basically approach is something special. because he using everybody around, including waitress, all the workers at this local bar, just to get Laurelyn's name, or just to make sure that she is staying longer than just one night in Wagga Wagga. He pays this waitress to find out the intention behind her arrival in Wagga Wagga. He got to know what he needed, and after that he was ready to make his move, so he basically ran into Laurelyn. He made it look like this is just an accident, but she was already looking at him as potential love interest. I think at this point he did what he did. He just made sure that she noticed him. And of course, after that, the other night when they ran into each other, Jack and Laurelyn, basically, they didn't even know each other's names at this point. And Laurelyn's friend's brother was still hitting on her and trying to get her attention, but it didn't really work, because at this point, basically, Jack used all his tactics to get that friend out of the picture, so he could have his moment with Laurelyn. Of course, they basically spent this night dancing and getting to know each other, but he didn't reveal his name yet. He suggested that it would be better for her to not to know his name at all. After that, basically, he asked her if he could basically get her on the other date, on the other, night, and he basically sent his driver to grab Laurelyn, and he introduced her to his place. He is winemaking magnate. He is looking for a relationship with no strings attached, with no commitment, just 3 months relationship, since they both staying in Wagga Wagga for 3 months. He using this opportunity to get this agreement with Laurelyn and just to be lovers for this short period. She is just not considering anything like this, and she is seeing, of course, this as an escort or something like she would never accept. So she declined this offer first time. She went home, but he insisted. Basically, Jack Henry, who introduced himself as Lachlan, and this is his nickname for the rest of the movie, till she found out that he is not just Lachlan, but he has his real name. But at this point, he played this card. He basically was sending gifts every morning. He was making sure that basically Laurelyn finally agrees to his offer to be in a relationship with no strings attached. He is introducing her to his wine business, and little by little he is revealing more information, but they agree that anonymity is the first priority of their relationship. They do not need to know each other's names. They do not need to know each other's families, and they would never see each other's friends or families. This is their agreement. For Jack Henry, it seems to be typical in something he is used to. But for Laurelyn, it seems to be strange and basically she couldn't resist this offer, maybe because she was there just for 3 months. Anyway, she can leave anytime Jack if she doesn't like him or if he's going weird. But since this is just a love story, it could be about breaking her defensive mechanisms and making her finally fall in love. He sent her even a new phone. He made sure that Laurelyn basically has everything in Wagga Wagga she needed. That was right before a new year, apparently 2026. The movie came in 2025, December 18th. This movie is still going to be in theaters. Theatrical release is gonna be in 2026. But if you didn't watch this movie, the initial release, you will still have a chance to go to your local theater and just to watch it on the big screen. Or you can find it on Passionflix. More important, Passionflix is a platform that has every similar movie, even better movie than this, maybe. You can find a lot of movies like this on Passionflix. But I don't think you can find movie better than this, because at this point I think this is the best movie of Passionflix. And they put apparently a lot of effort into this movie. It seems more of a quality than previous projects. And I have watched Wallbanger, The Black Dagger Brotherhood, and I can tell you this movie is taking it on the other level, on the new level, and it's personally, for me, it's even better than some of the recent Netflix's projects with way more budget, way more money put in there. This movie can be better than those high budget projects, because this movie has two things. First of all, perfectly picked characters, perfectly picked actors. You just can see from the very beginning, from the first scene, that basically passion is there, that they have something. You can immediately recognize that. You do not need any build up to this because it happened so quick. She just arrived in Wagga Wagga, and next 10 minutes you can see she is already on a date with this man, because this movie just, it doesn't even need building up you to that point. It has everything perfectly put together. You need just relax and watch it. And at some point you will realize that basically you want to see more. And you will get more, because this is a trilogy, and you will have beauty from surrender, beauty from love, to other parts. But this beauty from pain, this is just first installment, and it introduces you characters, it introduces you the story, it shows you the initial meeting of two characters. It shows you the traumas, the past, the prehistory a little bit. It shows you their interests, activities. It shows you 3 different cities, from Wagga Wagga to Sydney and even New Zealand. So it takes place basically not only in Australia but New Zealand as well. A part of it makes a little bit drama with an ex. This ex arrived out of nowhere. She is claiming that Jack is her husband. She's trying to create this drama. She's trying to get Laureling out of the picture. And she went even further. She basically put on fire Jack's wineries. She's so desperate. She's trying to get back Jack, but Lauren's still not aware of that ex existence. She is really thinking that they are exclusive. There is no wife, there is no ex, there is no anybody. And the only real problem for Laureling is her friend's brother, at which basically house she was staying. Since they were staying in the same place, she put up with his temper. He was hitting on her. She made it clear that they have no future together, but he crossed some line. Basically, Jack interfered and he basically grabbed Laureling, and they decided that she would never come back to her friend's brother's house. After that, basically, they went to a lot of places. They spent all 3 months together, and the time is going to come to this final stage. The 3-month trial is gonna be completed, but Laureling, she is still doing what she can just to be present, to enjoy this time. She is dancing, she is singing, she is doing wherever she can to keep her mood up. But this ex appeared out of nowhere again. Audrey, she is Jack's ex. She is claiming that she is his wife. So Laureling basically believed she is leaving Jack because of that ex. He convinced her that this is no ex. This is no wife, this is just ex. He even called his mother to confirm that he has no wife, that this is just a stupid ex. Laureling changed her mind. He made her change her mind. She decided to stay. At this point, no problem left for them, basically, but again, you would never expect this movie to have an ending like this, because this movie has no happy ending at all. Since you have seen this movie, or you will see this movie, you need to be ready for not so happy ending, but more of a sad ending and cliffhanger, apparently. But if you have read novels, if you know the prehistory, you probably know the characters, you know the history of all three books, you know how it's gonna end, so you know what to expect from future movies, Beauty from Surrender and Beauty from Love. But I have no idea what it's gonna be about. I know that this movie is just about the healing from her past, from her trauma. Laureline has a huge trauma. Her father left her when she was so young, 17 or something like this. And not only that, she has her stepbrother from another woman. And after that stepbrother died, her father only then he decided to reach to Laureline. He never called her, but since he lost his another child, he decided to reunite with Laureline. But at this point, she is already not going to come back to her past. She is already moved on from that. And this is her birthday. Basically, they spent this birthday together with Jack. And they went to Sydney Opera to see some performance. They did not only watch that performance, they did more than that, but the movie using every opportunity, every scene to make it not just about their activities. It doesn't matter where they go, they always find a place to make love. This is what this movie is about. It's literally making a love scene every 5 minutes. And it doesn't feel too much because this love scene, every love scene of this movie is just perfectly directed and perfectly different from previous scene. It's never repeating the same scene, and it uses different locations, different clothes. They dress differently every love scene. They act differently, and the mood, the vibe is different every love scene. This is why this is never too much, and it's not falling into soap opera or exaggerated drama. It's really just making you just appreciate every love scene. So this is why this movie is definitely must watch and a good starter for your new year. You have to watch it. Even if you watched it, you need to rewatch it. Maybe you just need this movie right now, because it feels more special during holidays, and after New Year it feels even more special. But I have watched it multiple times during this holiday. I watched it right before New Year. I watched it today, and I'm going to rewatch it maybe 1,000 times. Because this movie is what really making you just believe that basically sometimes the characters more important than the complicated storytelling or something like perfectly written script, because you will be there for just characters, because the script is just as simple as it is, and only characters, they are truly making this movie special. Not the script, not anything else, not even location. Even though Wagga Wagga, Australia is truly beautiful place, and it has more locations, New Zealand, even Nashville at the beginning, but more important characters. And since I always pay attention to characters, I would really recommend you just to make it about them and not to think about the script or anything. This way you can more enjoy this movie. You can really just relax. And I wish you find something like this, simple and just predictable. But this movie made me realize that basically in 2026, I'm ready for something like this, just stupidly simple. And to rely only on my character, because it doesn't matter. And this movie shows you that it doesn't matter who is in front of you. It's a billionaire wine making magnate, Jack Henry. For Laureling, initial intention was just to spend quality time in Wagga Wagga, Australia. She didn't look for a man, she didn't look for a relationship. And simple things, simple gifts, maybe not all of them were simple, but simple things made her make this move. But the only thing this is just, for me, is too much, is this agreement for 3 months. No strings attached. No commitment. Just 3 months. A fling. And after that they will forget each other forever. No information, no personal details, no names, no families, no friends. They are just lovers. And anonymity is the first priority. This is just basically so like unreal. I don't think that this is something basically people doing in real life, agreements like that, but it's happening naturally because people sometimes travel, meet somebody, they can be with that person, they can just spend that time with that person, but they can be doing that without any agreement or any terms. They're just doing that because they want to basically rest from all the chaos, from all the drama. They want just no strings attached. But this agreement is something like that making this movie somehow stand out, because without this agreement it could have been just two people just met and they decided to just sleep with each other without any agreements or anything. It would be way more typical. So this agreement somehow adding this new layer to the story, a little bit complicating the story, but at the same time, basically the movie is still simple and it's not overwhelming. So after everything happens in 3 months, almost done, during that time, he basically made a lot of promises specifically to Laureline's friend that he will never make her fall in love. He made this promise because she specifically asked him to not make her fall in love with him, because Laureline basically, she left Nashville, she left the US because of her previous relationship. And this is her getaway, and now she doesn't need any new serious relationship. He agreed, he knows perfectly that, first of all, this is his idea, this agreement, this 3 months. So he doesn't need any serious relationship as much as she doesn't. She doesn't want, and he doesn't. But at the same time, you can see two beautiful people, perfectly paired. You can see them spending time together. You can see her dancing. You can see him staring at her. You can see that it's just impossible for these two people to end up together, or just to go beyond that agreement. But it's just making you last longer and keeping this mystery whether they are gonna be together or not. They even spent this New Year's Eve together. It was kind of surprise for Laureline. She doesn't basically know that Jack would come and spend this New Year's Eve with her. And after that, basically, the movie is getting to its final stage, and the final stage basically is when both of them realizing that the time is gonna be over. 3 months is gonna be over, and they need either just move on immediately after 3 months, after that agreement expires, or they need to get into another agreement, or they need to get it to serious, more dedicated level. They need commitment, not just this agreement to be with each other for 3 months with anonymity, no names, no information, no contacts, so they could never find each other after this agreement expires. But there is an ex again. Audrey is Jack's ex. She's claiming that she is his wife, current wife, not just ex-wife. She appeared basically to break up Jack and Laureline. Laurel made sure that Jack has no wife, and he called his mother. She confirmed that he had no wife ever. At this point, that ex Audrey, she just appeared to stir shit up. She just made that claim, but she never appeared again. Maybe they could have made her a little bit more complicated character, not just this crazy ex who is just putting on fire his wineries, spoiling his relationship, interfering into his personal life. They could have made it really just more than that. That ex, she was making points, talking about that basically Laurel is just another woman for Jack, and Laurel doesn't even know his name. She appeared, she basically made her performance, but after that she just disappeared forever. It seems like she is gonna be maybe a part of the story next movie. And next movie is gonna be Beauty from Surrender, and then Beauty from Love. I'm not sure if those two movies come in this year, but they have been confirmed by Passionflix. So this movie is just making my holiday, and specifically my New Year's Eve, something I would remember this whole year, because every time I feel that I need something to watch, that I need something special, I need those feelings that I felt during watching this movie. Every time I feel that I need that, I will go rewatch it. And that dose of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, whatever, I can get it from this movie, not just because it's beautiful, but I can get it just because it's showing you probably all perfect moments of two people spending time together. A lot of people would trade their time, their activities for something like this in real life. And personally, I think that the movie like this, making its purpose, the purpose behind this movie is showing a woman on her getaway 3 months in another country, finding a new life, finding a new man, finding a new love. But she initially didn't come there for that. She was there just for her healing period. Since she was in a relationship with her producer, she is a musician. She left that producer in Nashville, US. She didn't really break up with him properly, so that basically still lingering around. He is ringing her so often. Sometimes basically Jack was noticing those calls from somebody, but that didn't make them apart. That X is X. He is always gonna be just X. But now Jack, after Laurelyn left Wagga Wagga, is gonna be an X as well, since they are not together no longer. I think this is what makes more sense. Consider him as just another, and think of her as his dream woman. But beauty from pain, from surrender, or from love will always make your time perfect. So thank you for watching, and I will find you next time, because next time probably we will get something from 2026. But this movie is still making its release in 2026 on big screens. So be ready for theatrical release in the US specifically, maybe in Australia, maybe somewhere else. But this movie is waiting for you in a theater in 2026. Imagine watching this movie on a big screen. I would really just go on the other continent just to watch this movie if I could. I'm not joking. If I had a chance, I would go anywhere just to watch this movie on a big screen. This is just showing you how much I love this. So, thank you for watching. I hope you will find something you will love as much as I love this movie. But I love this movie because I want to find the same experience. Maybe everybody who is looking for something like this character have in this movie, they are gonna find themselves inspired by this movie. This is what making you believe that if those people by accident just end up together, there is anything possible by accident. You can randomly meet anybody outside. You can randomly run into somebody maybe in your town, maybe somewhere else. But this movie specifically making you believe in that accident. And I hope that in 2026, only good accidents happening for you and for me and for everybody. Only good events, only good coincidence, only good random stuff happening to you. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year again, and goodbye.